Hello everybody, my name is Tefan, and welcome back to Satisfactory. To start, I realized, and I know I said this in the last episode as well, but I do realize this series is called Factory Fridays, and today is in fact not a Friday. But, Satisfactory has this way where every time I play this game, I just end up gonna get into it. I just want to keep building. I want to keep going and keep automating and keep building, and so, you know, I just really want to play this game, and so I'm recording it and playing it. And then also, I realized too that if I upload Satisfactory only on Fridays and only like a 30 to 45 minute video, I will never get through this game. So, I figure it will become a little more regularly for Satisfactory, and then once Factory Fridays becomes on games like Factorio and maybe like Foundry and whatever ends up coming up, then it will probably become more of just a Friday only thing. But for now, Satisfactory will be more of a regular occurrence on the channel because I just love this game. So yeah, so we're gonna get back into it. In the last episode, we got our first big factory done. We got the reinforced plates factory going. If you haven't seen that, you should check it out. And then, since then, off screen, I did a little bit of stuff. I got the obstacle clearing because I needed just to be able to build up some biomass and biofuel. And so I did that so I could have some power. And I got the resource sink bonus program, which gives the awesome sink, which is where you can toss in extraneous resources you don't need for points towards redeemable tickets in the awesome shop, which can get you things like new foundation pieces, stuff like that. Because I wanted that to just be able to have that. So I got those two things as well off camera. I got a few things. I also got Blade Runners. That's what goes in your leg slot by just doing a little bit of quartz research, which is really good because Blade Runners are the thing that allows you to move faster and jump higher. And it's something where if you ever play this game, or if you have played this game, and you've ever tried to start a new game where you're so used to Blade Runners and you no longer have them, you will know that the difference is just excruciating. It's so different and it's so painful, and getting Blade Runners is a key thing, so I also did that off camera because getting them is not very interesting, but having them is just so crucial. So I did that. And you'll notice if I come out of my hub here, things look a lot different. There used to be factories here. There are no longer. Let me actually turn on my power because that's been off for a minute. There are no longer factories here, which I will explain now. Because also off camera, what I've been doing is rebuilding everything. So I've been sort of working towards my end goal of having a much more aesthetic, much more centralized factory with this. So you may notice this is where our reinforced plates factory was, and if we come through the gate here, it is in fact still here. This is still the... Did my power not turn on, or is the power not connected to here? Hold on. I may do some troubleshooting real quick. I'm sure a connection got just nixed when I was killing some power poles. And so now this is no longer connected to the grid. Okay, just build a new pole, connect it there, connect it there. We're good? We're good. Okay. Little power mix-up. My bad. Anyways, I was saying, when I was back here, the plates factory is still there. It just has walls around it now. Because I am going to start building on top of it, and on top of it, and on top of it, as I get more stuff. As I get more things to build, as I build more factories, I will be building more on top of it. But yeah, as you can see, this is still the same reinforced plates factory we just built. It's also got some catwalks above it now, because I could. And then if we come through here, this is all our basic resource production. So it's the same basic factories that I built in the first episode, just now on foundation and in here, so that it's a more centralized thing and it looks nicer. And yeah, and I want to sort of centralize it, at least a lot of stuff. Obviously, there will be amount of other factories where I build a lot of stuff on top of each other and whatnot. But for this, at least, this is what I wanted to do. So yeah. So now I have this. And it's neat. And I have little display signs everywhere that tells you where you're going. So like basic resource production, which I just signified with the plates symbol because that's the single most necessary basic resource, because conveyors tells you you're at reinforced plates, and above you will be rotors, which is our next step, is to build a rotors factory, because as we can see, if I search for smart plating, which is what I need for the space elevator, that needs reinforced iron plates and rotors. So rotors is the next step. But speaking of the space elevator, let's put that sucker down. Because, well, I haven't done that yet. And I should. I don't actually know how big the space elevator is, but I'm going to put it on foundation. Because I can't really harp on foundation this whole time and then not put it on foundation. But I can not have the right amount of resources to do that. I need to go grab them. Hee. I swear I had this very well planned out, and this is not at all me completely flubbing it. I don't know what you're talking about. I realize I have these catwalks that I should use, but... well... I need some more rods. Need some more plates. I need some more cable. Whee! So now, I should hopefully be able to put down this space elevator. This cannot be the first time I've done it. Oh, but maybe for experimental, because I'm on experimental now. That would make sense. And it will take a while to build, because it's a big behemoth. Boom. And then we will see that it opens up. And down from space becomes... slowly. Oh, there it is. I was looking at something else. Ah. The rest of the elevator, the actual elevator part. And now we have a space elevator, which is how we will unlock. So basically what the space elevator does, if I haven't explained it yet, which I don't think I have, is... hi, Ada.
Project assembly initialized. Congratulations, Pioneer. The space elevator will now automatically connect with the Project Assembly orbital platform. Project assembly is divided into phases, each of which require the delivery of project parts, such as smart plating, via the space elevator. Subsequent phases unlock access to new tiers with more advanced technologies to construct, automate, explore, and exploit. It is time to be honest. This project is part of the Save the Day program, the largest united undertaking in human history, destined to save us all. Earth is in peril and only Fix-It pioneers offer hope for survival. Fix-It is counting on you. Humanity is counting on you. Do not let Fix-It down.
Thanks, Ada. That's not a lot of pressure. So yeah, so I think Ada just explained it, but if you didn't hear that, basically... what this is we send up, so for this, as you can see in the top right, our objective is to complete phase 1 by sending 50 smart plating to the space elevator. In doing so, we will get an access to the next tiers of stuff. So as you see, we've had tier 1 and tier 2 when I've been doing the milestones, like the chainsaw or the part assembly, when I've been getting new stuff to use. Those milestones, you only get certain tiers of them at certain times. So... once I send up the 50 smart plating, I will get access to tiers 3 and 4, which will give me access to things like steel, cold power, etc. But I can't do that until I've done that 50 smart plating, which again requires rotors. So that is our next step. So I'm going to start planning out my rotors factory. Let's see. A rotor takes 20 iron rods and 100 screws per minute to make 4 rotors. And Iron rods are 15 to 15, as we've seen many times, and screws are 10 to 40. So, I'm going to now cut you away to my little drawing of chicken scratch so we can plan out what we're doing for this factory. Okay, so what we saw in-game on the machines was that 4 rotors takes 20 rod and 100 screw. Also known as 20 rods is just 20 iron. 100 screw is 60, which is 15, and 10, right? Because 60 screws is 15 rods, 40 screws is 10 rods. So this requires 25 rods, which is the same as iron, because rods are 1-to-1 on iron. Which means that for 4 rotors, needs 45 iron. Now, with a number like 45, there's a couple things we can do, but I think what I will do here is I will get to 12 rotors. No. 16? I think I meant 16. Yeah, I meant 16. So I get to 16 rotors, which is 4 times, so 80 rod and 400 screws, because this leaves us at 180 iron, which is a nice round divisible by 60 number, which is good. So this means we'll need 80 rods. 400 screws is... I'm dumb. It's 100 rods. Right, because we need 180 iron, 180 rods. Duh. That was a little stupid. So yeah, so this is what we're going to do. So now I will cut you back to the game where we're going to start planning and building. Yeah, so as we just saw in my little chicken scratch drawing, I figured out that I'm going to need 180 iron to do this, which means I need to find me some iron. Right, I painted twice. Okay, so we have 2 impures that if I double overclocked their miners, I could get that iron I need. Let me try to find other iron that will not require the same level of overclocking. I think you're not showing me this iron even though it's here and I can see it. So let me check out what this is that I'm working with. So I've got a pure and an impure. Excuse me. Excuse me. Thank you. Pure and impure is 150 total iron, which I need 180. So not ideal. I also saw, yeah, I'm speaking good today. I saw that there was an iron and pinged over here, so I want to check that out. I can also see about going back further east. Let me up to the power slug. I want that, because I might need it. I'll almost assuredly need it at some point. Because power slugs are my best friends in this game. Who needs real friends who can help you build things when you have power slugs? That's all I'm saying. Where's the iron you pinged? Here. There's also an iron that way that I should check out. Hi, what are you? Normal. Okay. So normal is good. And if you're pure, then I'm happy. You're pure, and I'm happy. Excuse me, I need you to die. Thank you. So I have this pure and that normal, which is 180 iron, which is what I was looking for. So that works out quite nicely, actually. So, yeah, with that said, let me get over to my build spot. And then while I'm getting there, let me talk about this. So, in the last episode, you probably saw that I sped up my building of this reinforced plates factory that I just built. Because it makes the most sense for doing this to speed up the builds. Because the builds just take a while, and The point is to explain them after the fact. The actual building process just takes time and a lot of buttons. So, what I have done since the last episode between the two, what I have done is I have figured out a way where my dad will come in as a cinematographer and use the new photo mode that they added in the experimental build to get a nice overhead shot of what's going on. So it's better than the first person like in the last episode, so you can really see what's happening. And from there, I will speed that up and then cut back to me once I'm done. So, with that said, enjoy the new speed up for my building. All right, so that was the factory build. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it looks all good. And yeah, so here's the factory. Since the factory build, I put up some walls and connected the miners and stuff, and I forgot to close this wall. So allow me a second to fix that. No, go there. And second of all, I need to turn on the power grid again, because while I was building, it turned off. And hopefully, my capacity is above my max consumption still. So we are all good, and now everything should be running. And the iron for this should start slowly coming through. So now let me walk you through what's happening here. All right, so every smelter here, as was shown in the walk, or the speed up, is smelting iron. And then every constructor, that's the first level of constructors, is all making rods, because screws build from rods, and the other thing that the rotors need is rods. So, over here, we have all of our rods making, so we see this thing of 15 rods is split into 3. So basically, this thing of 15 rods gets 5 rods from this to make it 20 to go to an assembler, and every subsequent one gets another 5 rods from a different constructor to make 20 to go to their assembler. This has 5 rods of it split off to the rods, and then 10 go to a screws assembler. And then we have 9 other screws assemblers, all taking from these rod machines, making us our total of 400 screws. Which at the end, 2 40s and a split of a 40, so 20, makes 100, which goes through. So we split 1 in the middle, and then it becomes 100. We have 4 of those that all go to the assemblers that are making rotors. So yeah, this is the factory build, and then this all goes to storage. So yeah, this was pretty fun to build, again. You know, I always enjoy building these factories as much as anyone else, and rebuilding them again, you know, even though I'm sure I've built a rotor factory at least 5 times in my entire time playing Satisfactory. I also made a little door here so you can get down and back up, and this will be a little darker now, but soon, once we get to tier 3, I will be able to put lights in here, and then everything that has a roof on it will just become so much brighter and so much nicer. So we do have to look forward to that. And some of our iron is already getting here for this. But yeah, so it's a pretty nice build, and I always enjoy doing this again and again because it's just fun, you know, refiguring out the numbers, rebuilding everything, getting all the spacing right, you know, making it look nice, making sure all your conveyors are, even if they look a little silly, as this one does, you know, it's still doing what it's supposed to, and it's really neat. So I am going to put a little lookout tower in here so we can watch the factory as our resources start to get here. So yeah, our 120 pure iron has already gotten here. The other iron will be a little bit slower because as you know, a 60 conveyor will always take resources here slower than a 120 conveyor, but they will get here, and that miner is also farther away, so that one will take a second to get here. But once it does, we'll have rotors going, and once we have rotors going, we can start worrying about the smart plating. So now, if I go back here as we wait for that, and I go back to smart plating, we have one reinforced plate and one rotor go to one smart plating. Which is a really simple recipe. It's really easy to do. Now, I'm gonna talk a little bit about project parts now, the things that go into the space elevator, because this is one of the few things in this game that I just don't like. One of the few things that this game does that I like the way they used to do it, because again, I've been playing this game since it was like very first released in early access. And back then, what it used to be was what you sent up in the space elevator would be the kind of components you're sending with the milestones, right? So, like, instead of sending 50 smart plating, I would send 50 reinforced plates and 50 rotors. But now they changed it to smart plating. The reason why I like the old system better is because there is no reason to actually automate smart plating in general. At least, I don't think there is. There might be. I might have done this wrong for a long time. But the reason why there isn't is because the project parts are only useful for the space elevator. So the space elevator will only ever use that smart plating. The reason why it's potentially possible that automating it is useful is because that smart plating is then, so for the next tier of the space elevator, it will be more complicated components that you need to build as opposed to just smart plating. And some of those more complicated components will use smart plating to build them. But because of the time variation between, you know, sending up your milestones and the tiers, automating them, I believe, will produce way too many smart plating than you'll ever need, which is then pointless because the smart plating has no other use. Other than for the space elevator, you cannot use smart plating for anything. Which is why I think the system is just a little silly. There's no way, or there's no reason to actually automate a factory that makes smart plating. You have to make it in an assembler, but what I have always been doing, since they changed it to this, is I put down in a little assembler next to the space elevator, I put a chest that has 50 reinforced plates and 50 rotors in it, and I send it to a machine that makes smart plating. Which, for the case of, like, this first tier, is not so bad. Because I believe, I'll double check. Yeah, so the assembler produces smart plating at a rate of 2 per minute. If you triple overclock it, so put it at 250%, it'll make 5 per minute. So this will take 10 minutes to get through the tier, get through all the smart plating, to complete phase 1 and send up the space elevator. But at later tiers, what ends up happening is you need components that take hours and hours and hours to build, but they use some of the components that you're building at the very end of the tier. Some of the last things that you have to build, you know, the last things that you need to actually build to, you know, progress. So, like, it would be something like modular frames, which I haven't even built yet, right? That's like the last thing I can possibly build. I will be waiting to build that until after I send up the space elevator and get my coal power online, so my power grid is just sustainable and it's, you know, it's always on. So I won't have any problems because the power system is not dependent on biomass, which you can't automate. The coal power can be automated so that your power will never run out, and my fuse should never blow again once I have that. So I will be doing that first. But yeah, so in the later tiers, you just have that problem where it takes hours and hours and hours, and you're using that last component. So it'd be something like modular frames, where I would need to then go build that factory. I would need to then have it build up enough for me to make the project part, and then I would have to send that to a thing that will take 3, 4, 5 hours to actually complete the number of project parts needed to send up the tier. So what I've often had to do is just kind of sit in AFK and let that just go. Which I just think, you know, it's fine. Don't get me wrong. But it is something that, to me, is just a poor design decision. I think it just doesn't work right. But that's just me. And now our iron is finally getting here, but you're only getting here at 30 per minute. Why? Now I need to go do some investigating of why that is slow. Did I put it on the wrong deposit on accident? Did I accidentally put it on an impure instead of the normal that I had found? That might be it. Ow. Because otherwise, that's not good. I'm thinking I did. Whoopsies. You are an impure, aren't you? Yes. Where's my actual iron deposit? Let me just grab this. Excuse me. Start grabbing this conveyor and bringing it with me. Ah, there's the iron I wanted. Hi, don't mind me. Hey! Hey! Die. Die. Anyway, so let me get this miner down. Which means it'll take quite a long time for my resources to actually come through, because I also need to power you. So yeah, it'll take a minute for the rotors to actually really start going. But for now, I am gonna go set up the thing for smart plating, like I was talking about, of what I normally do, because I don't know. I think, I mean, you might be able to automate it. I am curious to try that at some point, of if you automate it for the entire game, will it actually be useful? Like, will you just make too much of it and not really be able to do anything with it? That I am curious to try at some point. I need rotors for that. Right. I knew that. But I do want to try that at some point. I feel like because of the amount of downtime, at least, especially for me now playing it solo, where I have to do everything, right? Usually, I've played with friends, and I've had, you know, I usually build the factories like I've been doing, but then they usually deal with, like, power, and some of the more fun stuff, like, you know, trains and hypertubes, stuff like that, which, if you don't know this game, don't worry, I mean, trains is pretty self-explanatory, and hypertubes, I'm sure I will build, because I like them. They're fun, and they're useful. So I will probably do that. But I need more foundations. But that's not what I wanted. But yeah, I do want to try it because I'm interested. But I don't feel as though it's something that is worth doing. You need to make smart plating. You are going to... I need to turn these guys into power shards. These little power slugs, so that I can get this going at 200%. So this will go faster. There we go. I'm also gonna try... I'm gonna go run around real quick. I will take you with me, because I'm sure I have more to say, but I'm gonna go look around and try to find another power slug so I can get it to 250%, because that'll mean it'll make it 5 per minute, so the 50 will only take 10 minutes. Which will be good. I'll probably end up cutting that 10 minutes out, because I don't have much to do right now, other than just build, like, modular frames. But again, I don't see the point, per se, of... Oh, thank you. I don't see the point, per se, of turning that on, or, like, even having it then, if I'm not turning it on, especially. Hi, you're gonna die now. But I don't see the point of turning it on if I don't have consistent power, because it's just gonna suck more power. It's just gonna require me to put more biomass burners to collect more biomass, so I'm gonna wait to do that until after I have coal power, because coal power will just make my life so much easier in so many ways, and I am so very excited to get that. I need this power shard. Hi. How much power do you take? 15. Okay. So I just need to put a biomass burner down to do this. Let me grab some biomass to power it. Hello, my biomass collection. Grab some. Yeah, that is another thing I did in between the build and actually coming back here and showing it off and recording more. Was I did also grab a bunch more biomass, because I need biomass. Why? Turn off. You're not actually burning. Okay, yeah, because you can't do anything without your rotors, which I definitely have not made enough yet of. But I'm gonna go check on that. Is my iron finally starting to come through? Please tell me it is. Iron? Survey says... Oh my gosh, it's gonna take forever to get here. Oh well. But I should have at least a few rotors already built. I also built catwalks and then have proceeded to not use them, because that's just what I do, I guess. But hopefully I have at least a few rotors built. 24. That's not bad for it's not working at all. Here, take 50 rods, and take 50 rods, and take 50 rods, and take 50 rods, so you can start working while the iron slowly gets here. You can give me my rotor so I can get up the project, the phase 1, so that I can get my tier 3, because tier 3 is where I will then be able to unlock coal power, speak of the devil, and then I will be able to, you know, have consistent power where this constant fuse blown thing won't be happening. Because I will always make sure I have enough power before I turn on anything, so I will always have enough capacity, and unless something terrible happens, which hopefully not, I should be completely fine to just do that. I need the biomass. Hi. You still have some biofuel, because biofuel burns so much slower. You have biomass, and you have biomass, but let me just fill you up, because you're gonna need it. I have a feeling I know exactly what ran out now. You still have biofuel. Something tells me, yeah, it's these two that actually ran out of biomass. So let me toss the biomass in here, and I should be able to turn everything back on. And everything's good. Okay. See, anyway, I'm just going to cut you away here. I'm going to just wait for my rotors to produce so I can get, and then I'll wait for the project assembly to finish, because that takes, 10 minutes of I don't really have much to do. And then I'll be back when that finishes. And then I will probably just end up having that and maybe working on coal power. We'll see what the time looks like for that. But yeah, so enjoy the cut, and I will see you when project assembly is done. Oh hey, project assembly finished. I've been sitting editing the first part of this video while I just let this run, so I'm gonna kill this assembler, because now, and I can kill these as well. I'll leave the foundation, because whatever. But now, I can actually send up the first tier of the space elevator. So we come over here to the console. We've completed it, so we load it. It's loading. We seal the container. Hi, Ada.
Welcome to the Project Assembly Pioneer Progress presentation. Congratulations, the Phase 1 project part shipment is now ready for delivery. On delivery, Phase 1 will be completed and the distribution platform will be constructed. After completion of Phase 1, the technologies of Tiers 3 and 4 will become available in the hub. Highlights are automated power, steel production, personnel transportation, and many more. Completing Phase 2 of project assembly is your next main objective. New project parts will need to be produced and delivered to the space elevator as you have done previously. Continue to construct, automate, explore, and exploit for a better fix-it future.
Thanks, Ada. And now we send it. Oh, the Aurora right now is really pretty with this. Wow. Send it. Boosh. And now that sends, and one thing that's really cool, which I don't remember if was there in the first part of the game, when the game came out, is it builds it now up there.
Project assembly completed. This is only the beginning of project assembly, the first step towards saving the day. You have performed adequately so far. Reminder, not only is Fix-It saving humanity, it is saving all of Earth, including kittens and puppies. It is statistically likely that you appreciate the continued existence of kittens and/or puppies. Continue the work for their sake. Continue the work for Fix-It. It is time to start the work on Phase 2 of Project Assembly.
Thanks, Ada. I'm glad I've performed adequately, and now I must focus on saving the kittens and/or puppies, which is statistically likely that I will appreciate the continued existence of. Which is true. I do appreciate the continued existence of kittens and puppies. And apparently while I was away editing, this has turned off. So I should put in some biomass. Hopefully that's... actually, no, I know I'm going to need... just fill up my inventory, and then... Hi, biomass, for you! Hi, biomass, for you! And for you! And for you! And for you! And you! Oh, no, don't do that. And for you! And for you! And for you! And you! And you. And you. And I need more biomass. For you. And for you. And for you. Okay. Biomass. Put that away. Let me turn on my power grid again. Nice. Now we can look at tiers 3 and 4. So the first big thing in this is going to be coal power. I can, in fact, probably get that now, actually. I don't think I'll be doing it in this episode. I believe that will be, as I see it now, probably part of the next episode, which will probably actually be on Friday for once. Well, for twice. Because that'll be the second time. But, yeah, I will go get that now. And unlock coal power, which I will then, that will be the start of the next episode when we be doing coal power. Wow, that is just gorgeous. But yeah, it'll be me doing the coal power, and probably as well doing modular frames, because that's the last step of the stuff that I could have done even before sending up the space elevator. And then it'll be time to work on steel production. Because that is then the next major stepping stone of a lot of things. Gets us access to things like tier 3 conveyors. Gets us access to all kinds of stuff, really. I didn't set the milestone, so I don't know how much I need. So I'm just going to grab a bunch. And I don't remember what the last thing I needed was, but I think it was cable. So I'll grab a bunch of that. And hopefully that's enough. But yeah, then it'll be steel, which is a stepping stone to a bunch of things. Because that's tier 3 conveyors, that's better miners, so we can get more out of the resources we have. It also unlocks the ability for us to create hypertubes. It unlocks the ability for the lights that I was saying I really wanted to put on the ceilings. It gives us access to a lot of stuff. So I am very much looking forward to being able to do that as well. But yeah, at first it'll be coal power. Where's the cable? Which I will get now. Goodbye, freighter.
Milestone reached. Power production can now be fully automated by burning coal, which has been added to the resource scanner. Water is also necessary to run the coal-powered generator and will require a network of pipelines to be transported from a water source. To assist with locating and identifying water, Fix-It has compiled this guide. Water is a somewhat reflective liquid and it may have thick vegetation growing nearby. To test if something is water, try touching it. If it is not solid and does not corrode your suit, it is probably water.
That's good. I'm glad I now know how to identify water. I was pretty worried I wouldn't be able to do that. See, now we can have coal generators, which burns coal to boil water. The steam produced rotates turbines that generate electricity. So each one of these produces 75 megawatts. So based on my power grid now, which is consuming 415, at least at max consumption, I need, what, approximately 6 of those? Which is not bad, because from each coal mine, from each coal, like, miner that you put down, you can get, I think, approximately 5 or 6 generators from. So we should be able to get our power grid nice and flush and running constantly when we come back in the next episode. But yeah, so that's where I'm going to leave this episode. I'm having fun, obviously. I said it. I will say it again. I'll keep saying it. I'm a broken record, but Satisfactory is just such a fun game. And I really recommend, if you think you would enjoy it and you're enjoying what you're seeing, that you check it out and consider getting it, because it is just such a great game. It's so fun to play. I don't know how else to sell it other than it's just a blast. But if you are coming around this channel often and you like what you're seeing, consider dropping a like and subscribing to the channel, because that would really help me out. And yeah, if you have feedback or suggestions or really anything at all that you want to say, even if you just want to say hi, feel free to put those in the comments down below. But yeah, this is where this is going to end. So I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!